What up, Sports Ranter Nation? Here on my own, trying this out for the first time. We will be back with the whole group tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Hopefully live this time. Hopefully we will be live and interactive with you all. But just wanted to touch on the Bills game this weekend because I don't want to hijack the entire show talking about a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Probably the best year of playoffs I've ever seen. These games have been absolutely incredible. And the Bills-Broncos was no different. So we'll just get right into it. And it was a heartbreak for me. And, I got to say it. I've spent a lot of years, whenever the Bills have success, it's all Josh Allen. And which I still believe is true. It's all Josh Allen. But you have to... Well, first off, this loss to the Broncos was no doubt. It was the worst game we've ever seen them play. 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions. If you want to call the one at the end interception, not even really going to touch on that too much. But, you can't fumble. You can't turn the ball over like that. And the reason they lost that game was Josh Allen. Just a terrible game. And on the other hand, the reason why they were in such a close game in overtime that came down to the end was because of Josh Allen. It was as poor as he played, and as much of it is his fault. The only reason that they were there that long and it was that close was because of Josh Allen. And I believe that we'll see what everybody everybody has to say. It breaks my heart for the guy because, it's like, I don't know. I've been saying for a long time that he doesn't have enough things around him, in order to help this team succeed. He has to be Superman in order for this team to go all the way. He has to be Superman every single game. He has to be Superman for enough games to get into the playoffs, and then he has to be Superman. He has to be perfect all the way through the playoffs, regardless of how many games you're playing. And even perfection is not good enough sometimes for what this Buffalo Bills team has been. Example, the 2022 loss against Kansas City, 27 for 37, 73% completion percentage, 329 yards. Picks? Nope. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, rushed for another 68 yards, got them the lead with 2 minutes left, got them the lead back with 13 seconds left, and literally perfect pass rating. It still was not enough to move the Bills on. So I'll always think he's an elite talent. I don't even think that's really argued anymore. Super Bowls are not a stat to me. Jalen Hurts has Super Bowls. Do we think that he's better than Josh Allen? Give me a break. That defense was absolutely, sensational. But this one was Josh Allen's fault, and he knows it. Everybody else knows it. But I think it translates very well into what happened today with the firing of McDermott. And honestly, Brandon Beane should have been fired too. The way he's handled the salary cap, the lack of effort to get anybody into the around for weapons for Josh Allen, for these playoff runs is just insane. Why they didn't go after a receiver at the trade deadline? There were talks about Waddle. Why they didn't go out and get him? But just some staggering things looking up, really looking over the Bills playoffs since Josh Allen's really been the stud. But from 2020 to 2025, they've had 9 playoff games, the Bills have. 27.8 points is the average points per game that the defense has allowed. Defense has allowed 27.8 points per game on defense. In the losses, it's been 33.2 points per game that the defense has given up. So that's the bar of perfection that Josh Allen has to be. Now, you can say, he does have weapons, give me a break. So during that time from 2020, 2025, how many times has a receiver had a 100-yard game in a playoff game. There has been 4 times. 2 of those were Stephon Diggs. That was in 2020. Colts and then Ravens. He was over 100. And then 2021, the big Gabe Davis game, 201 yards. And then 2022, Gabe Davis again. So you had 2 receivers that have each had 2 100-yard receiving games in the playoffs in 5 years. A team that's there every year with a quarterback that's throwing 300-plus yards a game. So where's it? Well, the Buffalo runs, double tight end. They use the tight ends. Guess how many 100-yard games any tight end has had in 2020, 2025? 0. Not one 100-yard game from their tight end. Get some help. Get some help on defense. Get some help around him. Like, I understand that this is a team he plays for. This is like what he signed up for. He is on a team where they have mismanaged salary cap, and they have pretty much said, you're it. Go do it. You're it. This is it. And it's just been a failed experiment. We've wasted a lot of years watching this, and it's the same thing over and over again. Whether Josh Allen is costing the team with 4 turnovers like we saw against Denver, or he's playing absolutely perfect football against a team like Kansas City a few years back, it's just this short. It's always just this short. So, but it's a shame because all the critics of him that are so quick to, he's not on the elite level like the Mahomes and things like that. This is always going to be that game that they can point to and say, he missed that throw to that tight end. Oh, it's that one throw. It's that one throw. Every time there's a loss, we're always pinpointing it down to that one thing that Josh Allen does, and that's again what I've been telling you this video and all that is he has to be perfect. He has to be Superman, and you can't ask that from somebody every game, every playoff, every year in and year out. So I'm hoping, that being said, I'm hoping that they bring in a coach that has a little more of a creative offensive mind. Their offense to me is just, there's no direction. It's bland. It's we want to run. We're run first, but except Josh Allen's going to throw the ball 40 times a game. I want to see a good offensive coordinator go in there and bring in if you're not going to bring in better receivers, a good alpha downfield receiver, at least figure out some offensive schemes to where, you can drop back and get rid of the ball. I think the network did a good job on the broadcast. They did a lot of downfield shots in the replays of the coverage. And, Denver's a great defense and all that, but it's like, they just, there was a few, again, the big open miss. I understand that I'm going to probably face some of that tomorrow on our show. That it doesn't matter what we're saying. He cost us this, he cost the game for him. But I would like to see them bring in a good alpha, somebody to take the hat off a little bit, downfield, take the top off. But, to put up 30 points against that defense and then have the game end, unfortunately, with, quite frankly, the wrong call. I mean, they said it all game in the Patriots game. It's just the wrong call, but that happens. Seen it enough. It's just it's incredible to me. Some of the, just looking back over the Bills playoffs, how little Josh Allen has had. During your losses, your defense given up 33 points. 9 playoff games total, win or loss, they're still giving up 28 points. That's asking a lot in the playoffs, especially when defense wins championships and you're going up against the best defenses in the league. So, it's a heartbreak. And then on top of that, it's a heartbreak to see Denver win this thing and then lose Bo Nix apparently on a kneel down. I mean, that's just what a waste for Denver to come so far, only to come this far is such a waste. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of my take on the game. Yeah, Josh Allen blew it, and there's no getting around that. This is probably one of the worst games I've ever seen him play. And heart breaks for the guy, standing up there, because he's always taken it all on his shoulders when they lose, and he always gives all credit to the rest of his guys when they win. But there's not one player in the league, there's not one player on any team in this league that is as detrimental, as important as Josh Allen is to the Bills. And I truly believe that. And even in the losses, he spot Buffalo or Denver 4 turnovers. You turn the ball over 4 times, and they go out and score 30 points, and you're still right there. Like I said, they lost the game because of Josh Allen, but it was that close and that exciting all the way to the end, and then into overtime because of Josh Allen. So, but he's my man crush. He's my guy. But yeah, Buffalo deserved it to lose. They didn't stop anybody on defense. How Bo Nix, it looked like Mahomes back there. He just had that guy in that 5-10 yards, seems like every time, just wide open. So Buffalo is in a lot of caps trouble next year. They're going to have to do a lot of restructuring. I kind of expect guys like Allen to do some contract restructuring to where, they can open up some cap space, because there's just too many holes right now. And to give Bean a extension, or I guess promote him, is blows my mind, because in my opinion, he's done nothing to strengthen this team to in the prime of Josh Allen's career. And so I don't know, you can say all you want, they had receivers this, that. Like, give me a break. If you're gonna sit there and lie to yourself that the Bills have enough weapons and all that stuff, you got Khalil Shakir, and who's how big is that? How big is he? You got rookies that weren't drafted, and Gabe Davis. Like, give me a break. Just give me a break. You're lying to yourself. So anyway, that's my take. You guys tune in tomorrow at 6. Getting all this out. That way we don't have to hijack the entire thing. I know Drew hates talking about Josh Allen so much, but yeah, some great games, this weekend, and I'm sure we'll be talking about all of them. So tune in tomorrow at 6. Hopefully we're live. If not, check back and catch a show. It'll be posted up on the SportsRanter page. See you later, guys.